President Assad asserts that Syria is not worried about the draft resolution about chemical weapons. And Syrian Arab Army continue to chase terrorist gangs in Homs. Iran refuses to enter negotiations about its nuclear file as a weak party and would never accept any threats or preconditions, according to Iranian officials. Good afternoon, this is news in English from the Syrian Arab television in Damascus. President Bashar al-Assad asserted that the Syrian Arab Army was built on the basis of traditional war, so it will suffer no harm by giving up its chemical weapons. In an interview with the Chinese television station CCTV, the president asserted that Syria called upon the United Nations Security Council 10 years ago to empty this region of all mass destruction weapons. The president said Syria would get nothing for giving up the chemical weapons. Cooperation with Russia continued in order to consolidate the Syrian arsenal, particularly in the field of air defenses, because the Zionist entity continued to occupy Syrian territories. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov announced that the Organization of Collective Security supports the efforts of the international community to solve the crisis in Syria. Addressing the meeting of the foreign ministers of the member countries in this organization, he said Russia was concerned about the situation in Syria and its negative impacts on the whole region and on the international law. He stressed the necessity to accelerate the efforts to solve the problem of chemical weapons. This would support the endeavors of the international community concerning Syria. Brigadier General Hossein Dahkan, Iran's Minister of Defense, asserted that Iran would never join negotiations about its nuclear file as a weak party, affirming that Iran would never accept any preconditions or threats. He said Iran's foreign policy was based on dignity, wisdom, and national interests. These principles in Iran's foreign relations would never change, saying that developments in this region and the world during the past few years had given America and its allies lessons that the harm of war would be much larger than its benefits. Security forces confiscated large quantities of drugs and explosive devices hidden in a vehicle at one of the entrances of Homs city. The captured materials included narcotic pills, night binoculars, and various types of ammunition in a Suzuki vehicle before it entered Homs. A unit of our armed forces killed 9 terrorists in Al-Ghajal village in Al-Rastan countryside. Another unit destroyed an anti-aircraft gun and a terrorist hideout in Al-Zafarana. 5 other hideouts were also destroyed, and the terrorists hiding in them were killed and wounded. A Syrian Arab Army unit clashed with terrorist groups in Jurat al-Shayyah, killing most of them. In Aleppo, Syrian Army units targeted the terrorist gatherings and hideouts near the central prison of Aleppo, in Khan al-Asal and in Al-Wadi village, killing many terrorists, including the 2 terrorists Mustafa Taha Misto and Usama Majd al-Hilu from Al-Nusra Front. Syrian Arab Army units also destroyed convoys of cars, killing all the persons inside them near Al-Nerab camp and Banan village. They also destroyed rocket launchers and mortar guns in Queris, Al-Jdeide and Rasm al-Aboud. Another army unit clashed with an armed terrorist group, killing all its members, and foiled a terrorist attempt to infiltrate into the secure areas in Al-Leramoun and the markets of Old City, killing many terrorists and injuring others. In a statement, Al-Asifa forces, the military wing of the Palestinian National Liberation Movement, Fatah al-Intifada, announced that it It is responsible for the operation carried out by the heroes of Al-Asifa forces in the city of Hebron yesterday, which killed an Israeli soldiers and injured 4 others near Al-Ibrahimi mosque in the city. No one was injured from Al-Asifa forces, according to the statement. As a result of the operation, Israeli settlers attacked the Alameda neighborhood in the Old City in Hebron, while the Israeli occupation forces imposed a full siege on the city. Accordingly, Al-Asifa sources pledged in a statement to continue the armed struggle in order to liberate Palestine. After more than 2 years of supporting terrorists in Syria, Erdogan's government admitted that terrorists infiltrated into Turkish lands from Syria. President Abdullah Gül expressed grave concern about this in a meeting of the United Nations General Assembly while he attempted to wiggle out of his government's responsibility for facilitating terrorist acts in Syria. Now, however, he resorted to the pretext that it is very difficult for Turkey to stop these terrorists because its borders with Syria are more than 900 kilometers long. With this, we come to the end of our news for today. For more information and details, you can visit our website in English, www.syriaonline.sy. Stay with us, the latest in the world of markets and finance in our economic news, but after the break.